satisfaction either in our shop or at your location with our fully equipped field service truck on Deadwood Avenue in Rapid City or at 605-343-9393. Contact Adams ISC.
All right, I think we're all ready for some football, and Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort is the place to stay and play in Deadwood. If you want to bet on the biggest games, watch the games, and also play your favorite table games and have a great dinner, Cadillac Jack's and BetMGM allows you to do it all in one place. The king of sportsbooks, BetMGM, teaming up with Cadillac Jack's from college football to the NFL. Make your plans now to experience Cadillac Jack's with BetMGM Sportsbook. How will your game play out?
Get away from it all in the great outdoors for lasting family memories with a new or pre-owned RV from Dakota Discount RV. We make your RV experience fun and easy by providing you with a quality recreational vehicle, competitive pricing, and professional sales and service. Our large inventory of fifth-wheelers, travel trailers, toy haulers, and live-in horse trailers allows us to save our customers thousands of dollars compared to most dealers. Stop by and see us at Dakota Discount RV, 3330 East Mall Drive across from Cabela's and on JB Road, Blackhawk.
If you have a Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, BMW, Volvo, or any other high-end import, you might think you have to take your car to Denver or further for service. Hi, this is Martin from Al's D&I Repair. Don't plan your life around taking your car for service in a town 400 miles away. Bring it to Al's D&I Repair. Our technicians are trained to work on those complicated cars, and we also have the tools and equipment so they have everything they need to make sure your car is working perfectly.
Call Al's D&I to set up your appointment at 348-1447.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Warriors president of basketball operations and general manager Bob Myers guessing that Draymond Green will not miss games as punishment for punching teammate Jordan Poole at Wednesday's practice. This was declared by Myers in a press conference today, and he mentioned that Green said sorry to the team in a meeting this morning, and Green was a no-show at practice today, and all discipline will be handled internally, according to Myers. ESPN notes Texas A&M quarterback Max Johnson is potentially done for the year and most likely out this weekend in the game against Alabama after suffering a broken bone in his throwing hand in last week's loss to Mississippi State. Texas QB Quinn Ewers is slotted to be back starting Saturday against Oklahoma. In the NFL, Tom Brady was a full participant in practice. That's good news for the Bucs quarterback as he's dealing with injuries to his shoulder and finger. I'm Brian.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, live interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest local stories. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Rapid City. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, good Thursday afternoon, everybody. How are you? A little wet out there, huh? A little wet today. It's always a great day in the Black Hills. We know that by now. Welcome in. The Nate Brown Show live on Fox Sports Rapid City, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Thought-provoking sports talk with some great guests tonight across the board. We'll go down to Denver and get a live report from the Colts-Broncos game from Broncos beat writer George Stoya. He's there live, and we'll hit him up before Thursday Night Football, okay? So that's coming up. Also, Mike Golick Jr. is going to join the program. Great college football analyst, and we'll get into the college football, the NFL side. Mike Golick Jr. also puts out his top 5 power rankings. The Nate Brown Show putting out my NFL top 10. Mike Golick Jr. just released his top 5. We'll break into that a little bit as well. Mike Golick Jr. live tonight. Lee Sterling is in. It's a Thursday. That means we need some picks from Lee Sterling, one of the top handicappers in the country. Paramount Sports, live from Miami. Lee Sterling gives us his games. Matt Zimmer is live on the program tonight from Sioux Falls. It's USD South Dakota State Week. Jackrabbits hosting the Coyotes. Looks like a tough one for the Coyotes, right? It hasn't been a great season. One win in the books. And the Jacks look really, really good. What does it look like? Matt Zimmer, Argus leader, Sioux Falls. We'll preview that and more. And on a Thursday, we go to Rob Kegron for a football pick'em segment. 5 NFL games. We'll get his picks straight ahead. So a packed show Golick Jr., Lee Sterling, George Stoya from Denver for the Broncos Colts, Matt Zimmer, a little Jax USD. I'm ready. The Nate Brown Show brought to you in part by Black Hills Urgent Care. When it comes to getting better quicker, I go to Black Hills Urgent Care. Great staff, great customer service. They'll get you right in. 2 locations on Haynes Avenue and Mountain View Road on the west side in Bacon Park. They're open 7 days a week. You don't need an appointment, but I schedule on my phone when I can because then you don't have to wait around at all. You get right in. Go to bhucare.com. Schedule on your phone. If you need care, avoid the wait. bhucare.com. Black Hills Urgent Care is the faster way to get better. All right, here we go on a Thursday. Join us on the program if you want in today. 720-1067. 720-1067 is our number in the studio. Also, the Barron's Wilson text line ready to go. 720-1067. Direct text the show on the Barron's Wilson text line. Now you know. Okay, so a lot of things to cover today. A lot of Major League Baseball I'm going to get into, actually, with the wild card and these series starting tomorrow. There's some interesting headlines coming out of Major League Baseball. I'm not going to talk about Draymond Green punching Jordan Poole. Okay. We won't go down that road too much. I want to go down this road. I want to revisit this topic because I don't think we end up with a final answer. People discuss it and you see the headline for a day, and then I discuss it on this show. And then it kind of just goes away, and you just kind of don't follow it anymore, and you wonder, okay, whatever happens here? And what I'm talking about is earlier this week I talked about this new deal in college football where players can now sit out the rest of the season, and there's really no consequences for that because they want to preserve a year of eligibility so they can play up to 4 games, which we just hit that mark in college football, and then they can sit out the rest of the season, and there's nobody really saying, well, I guess that's the way it is. It's player power, and, coaches do it all the time. They leave here and leave there. The big thing is there's a couple of things I want to discuss on it. Players are not coaches' equals. I mean, can we agree on that? Players are not the equal of coaches. There's way more players make up the team. They're not the equal of the coaches. Everybody said, well, a coach can leave here and leave there. And there is consequences for that. When coaches leave a program and go to another one, that university usually has to pay a big buyout to the previous university. That's how those contracts work. There's contracts in coaching. When it comes down to it, these players, and I bring this up because it happened this week with SMU. And I talked about it at the beginning of the week because I saw the story come out saying some of their players, multiple players, are going to sit out. They're not going to play anymore. And the deal is, they haven't said they're going to go to the transfer portal. I get it. I get it. They can play this game of I can sit out. I don't have to use this year as eligibility, and now I get to transfer, and I don't have to sit out the next year because we got rid of that rule. There used to be a rule where you had to sit out if you transferred to a new school, and we got rid of that rule. What I'm telling you is it is a transfer portal free-for-all, and I don't see how you fix this other than bringing in what the Iowa athletic director recently suggested a couple of months ago, where he said, maybe we have to bring back the sit out 1 year for the transferring. Maybe we have to think about, hey, if you are going to transfer, think it through, make sure it's the right move. And if you are going to transfer, there is a little bit of a hoop that you have to jump through. We're going to have you sit out a year just to, make sure it's not, I'm going to transfer here. I get to play right away. If I don't like it, I'm going to sit out the rest of the season. I mean, it's one of those things. We've opened it up, and I like loosening things up for the most part. But let's just revisit this story with SMU. They were 2-2. They played last night and got blasted. These players sat out. They were 2-2, and then some of these players sat out to preserve, I believe, their red shirt, essentially, and they got blasted by UCF 41-19 last night. That was a game that got pushed back. So I wanted to revisit that and say, let's ask the question of the day. Let's look at this here. Are you okay with college football players sitting out the rest of the season if they want to preserve another year of eligibility? There's some doors that we open to where all of this stuff is new. You can play up to 4 games, and if you think it's going well, then it's fine. But if it's not going well, you can sit out now the rest of the season, really no consequences, and transfer somewhere else the next year and play right away. And I'm looking at it, SMU is just the example this week. SMU college football, they lose players, and I believe it looks like you're quitting. It looks like you're quitting on the team, and the team atmosphere, the team dynamic is no longer talked about. It's always talked about, well, the players get to do it because the coaches do it. And I don't like that argument. The players are not the coaches. The players don't have the same contracts as the coaches. These players get scholarships. And it's really hard to pull those scholarships, by the way. Okay? I don't like it. I want to ask you what you think of it. College football players, they can sit out the rest of the year, and this year then doesn't count. And they can play right away next year. Thanks for calling. You're live today, and you go ahead.
Hell no. You get one chance. If you don't like it, son, get your butt in the military and learn how to be a man.
You're just on fire today.
I'm telling you, there is no more manhood here, Nate. Coaches can't be men. I mean, Paul Chryst, consistent, great guy, great community, and they fire him because Wisconsin thinks they should be playing for Big Ten titles.
Yeah. Well,
really? How many Big Ten titles has Wisconsin won over the last 50 years? I'll wait. Whatever happened to honor, loyalty? You said I was way off the other day, Nate, and you're really off today, Steve. No, I'm not. You're giving $500,000. You're giving $500,000 to a player to go to college in Lincoln, and you stink, dude. All three of you do. You give Scott Frost $15 million. If you would have waited, you could have got half of that back.
By the way,
there is no loyalty. There is no loyalty.
By the way, I never say you're off. Let's just be true with that. Okay. All right.
Oh, I'm off, Nate. If I don't get them meds. God, I can't even remember where I put my pants on, and I was wearing it.
Here we go.
So,
all right.
I'm just saying, there's no loyalty. And me as a fan, if Nebraska's football coach died today, I'd go, oh, well. You know, if the football quit playing, I go, oh, well. I got college volleyball.
All right, buddy, I got you. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. We're off and running. I just wanted to revisit that because I feel like the open transferring, and I mean really open, plus I can play up to 4 games, and then if I don't like how it's going, I'm not getting to play as much, I can sit out, and I really don't have any major consequences there, and then I can just transfer. I mean, I never really thought I'd most people would say, well, if you question this, you're just old school, you're an old guy yelling at the clouds like Nate Brown. You just yell at the clouds if you question this. And I disagree with that. I think there has to be some solution to kind of get this cleaned up a little bit, where guys that if they're not playing as much or whatever the situation is, everybody has a unique situation, but at SMU for the Mustangs, I mean, they were 2-2. This guy maybe wasn't playing as much as he thought and whatever. Well, I'm going to sit out because I want to transfer somewhere else and I don't want to get hurt. The team concept is really out the window to me. That's the way it feels to me. 720-1067 is the Barron's Wilson text line if you want to answer the question of the day. Let's see what you guys say. Are we okay right now with college football players sitting out the rest of the season to preserve another year of eligibility? Because that's how it works. There's really no ramifications if I get to sit out and these guys at SMU will probably get picked up and then everybody will forget about it, right? But the team dynamic, that program, it's nearly impossible to keep everybody happy in a college football program today? I mean, I think it is impossible with the personalities to the open transfer portal, and I can play 4 games, and then if things aren't going well, I can head out. It's nearly impossible to run a real cohesive program because everybody thinks I should be this, I should be the starter, whatever it is. And now everybody bails, to me, pretty quickly. What's the results here? Are you okay with college football players sitting out to preserve a year of eligibility? 59% of you say no, it is a team sport. 59%. 41% of you, it's a pretty big number. 41% say yes, it's the player's choice. And I just can't get on board with it. You can call me the old guy yelling at the clouds, get off my lawn, but it feels like we're bailing in an atmosphere that you commit to a team. It's not about yourself totally, and the school committed a scholarship to you more than likely in these cases, okay? The program, the coach committed a scholarship to you. SMU hasn't gotten rid of their coach. I mean, people use that excuse. Oh, well, the coach left. No, he's there. The team's 2-2, maybe slightly disappointed, but these players that have sat out, they're just trying, I think, to use the system. Yeah, I want to go somewhere else. I don't want to burn up a year of eligibility. We've opened up too much is my point. Free transfers, no sit out. We get to sit out the rest of the season after 4 games, or as long as you do it before 4 games, and that year doesn't count. I mean, we've opened up so many ways for the players to get a lot of control. I really feel that, and maybe it's just me being crusty on a Thursday, but I wanted to visit it. I was watching SMU last night. It's 41-19. They lost to UCF, and I'm going, is that a coincidence? I don't know. Is that just a coincidence? SMU was, supposed to have a pretty good program this year. And it feels like things are kind of falling apart at the seams. I wonder why. On the same week where players announce, I'm going to sit out. I don't really want to play. Listener text, I think it's going to affect the bigger, better teams the most because those teams stock up 3 or 4 5-star players in each position with the hope of going to the NFL. Well, maybe. I don't know. I think it could be. It could be because, I think I should be the starter and maybe I should go here. That might happen. I just think there's too many open ends. I just think there's too many open ends. That's my point with it. Really quick here, I wanted to revisit that and see where you sat. So 41% of you say you're okay with college football players sitting out the rest of the season to preserve another year of eligibility. And by the way, these aren't just like freshmen that made a choice of, I went to SMU, it didn't work out. No, there's guys that have been here a while. There's a veteran. There's a sophomore. I mean, these guys that are sitting out for SMU, all they're doing is they're taking it off. They're going to go enter the portal, and there's no consequences. And I think it's almost impossible to run a good program with that outlet. There's not just one outlet. There's a few outlets. The Nate Brown Show on a Thursday. You know what that means, right? You know what that means. The Nate Brown Show on a Thursday means high school football tomorrow, and we've got Brown's Best tonight. Okay, the Nate Brown Show high school football picks. Matt Kearney in with his picks and in with our records. Let's get going. Brown's Best. I like the 5 games we have. And let's get this puppy started. Matt Kearney, how is our record as we enter the last couple of weeks?
So last week, we both went 4-1 out of our picks.
Not bad.
And we're still tied at 21-9.
Okay, 21-9. Let's see if I can get ahead of Matt this week. Let's see if I can get the edge this week. I don't know. I'm having a tough time this week. We'll start with our game tomorrow. Right here on Fox Sports Rapid City. Rapid City Stevens and Sioux Falls Jefferson. Jefferson's number 1 in the state in AAA. They're undefeated. I think they have the best quarterback. He's a dual threat. Talon Ashley's unbelievable. I think the Raiders will have a tough time because Jefferson's defense, their defense is good. I say Sioux Falls Jefferson comes in tomorrow. We'll have the game live. I don't think it's really, really close in the end. I go Sioux Falls Jefferson 40, Rapid City Stevens 13.
It is going to be a tough game for the Raiders against the Cavaliers. Of course, last week, what a game. What an overtime game for Stevens against Lincoln.
Yes, very good.
Really good. I'm actually really surprised at how well Wiseman came out and played. I mean, he tied the 2 touchdown scores to tie up the game. This game, though, however, last year, Jefferson won against the Raiders 48-32. Let's take a look at the season, how Jefferson has outscored their opponents. They've outscored their opponents 262-58, while Stevens has been outscored by their opponents 176-153. Average points per game for Jefferson, 43.66 points. Stevens, 25.5 points per game. Give me Jefferson on this one, 42-17.
42-17. I go 40-13. It's going to be a tough one for the Raiders tomorrow night. Okay, let's go to the Black Hills Conference. Browns best high school football picks. Belle Fourche 3-3. At Sturgis 2-4. Scoopers have had a tough schedule. That 2-4 record not quite indicative, I think, of how competitive they can be. I'm going Scoopers in Sturgis tomorrow, and I think it's pretty easy. 35-7 Sturgis.
So last week, Belle Fourche won against Lakota Tech 51-20. Sturgis lost to T-Area 57-7. Last year, Sturgis won against Belle Fourche 45-21. Let's check on and see how the Kearney Files are doing. So since 2011, Sturgis is 5-5 against the Bronx. Sturgis has outscored Belle Fourche 281-239. In the last 3 matchups, Sturgis has won against Belle Fourche 45-21 back in 2021, 35-6 back in 2020, and then 49-35 back in 2019. I haven't done well picking Sturgis with my picks here. Every time I pick them, it seems to be the opposite. I'm going back to the well on this one. Give me the Scoopers over the Bronx, 28-10.
28-10 Scoopers. Okay, you got a couple of votes for the Scoopers over the Bronx. Let's go out. I want to look at this game, okay? This isn't in our area, but it's a showdown. 11A against 11B. West Central's one of the top teams in 11A. They're undefeated. West Central's a power program. We know this over the years. They're back. They're back. Winner hosting West Central. The Trojans and the Warriors. Winner is champion after champion. 11B. Can Winner beat West Central? Is West Central that good that they can take down Winner? I don't think so. I think Winner gets them. 11B over 11A. Give me the Warriors. It's going to be tight. 27-20 Winner.
So last week, Winner played Bridgewater Emory Ethan last week. 36-0 Winner. I was surprised with that.
Yeah.
Surprised. West Central, they won against Tri-Valley last week, 48-0. Back to the Kearney Files. Nate, how many times has West Central and Winner played against each other?
I do not know that one. Probably not a lot. Well, maybe an 11A back in the day, yeah?
So the information I have, they've only played 3 games.
Okay.
3 games. Winner is 2-1 against the Trojans. They played back in 2018 where Winner won 36-7. This season, Winner has outscored their opponents 264-32. West Central has outscored their opponents 213-61. Winner averages 44 points per game, while West Central averages 35.5 points per game. It's going to be a close, tight game. Really close. Give me Winner over West Central 32-30.
Really tight. I took him by a touchdown, so we both go Winner Warriors. I'm surprised. I thought you might go West Central there. Both teams undefeated. Browns best with Matt Kearney and a high school football picks. Let's go right here in the Black Hills. Hot Springs. They beat St. Thomas More easily a couple of weeks ago. Hot Springs is hosting Rapid City Christian. What do we think? Simon Kiefer, the quarterback, he's got 19 touchdowns, right? Rapid City Christian at Hot Springs. Both teams 4-2. It looks like Christian, they can beat Hot Springs, right? This is the year. I don't think so. Hot Springs isn't going to blow them out. It's going to be a tight one. But give me Hot Springs. They've got good defense. They're going to win it 27-21.
So last week, Christian won against Hill City 55-8. Hot Springs won against Lee Deadwood 44-0. Last year when these two teams played, it was Hot Springs all over Christian 13-0. So not a terrible game for the Comets. Back to the Kearney Files. Hot Springs has outscored their opponents 189-84. Christian has outscored their opponents 202-133. So the Comets, they average about 33 points per game, while Hot Springs averages around 35.5. You know, it was a surprise with Hot Springs beating St. Thomas More.
Yes.
I think it surprised a lot of folks. Give me the Bison over the Comets 28-13.
28-13. We're in the same boat every game. How about the last one? 9-man game of the week in Brown's Best. The 9-man game of the week we have Timberlake 5-2 at 5-2 Harding County Bison Ranchers. Ranchers had a tough go against Wall. That was tough last week, okay? It's a bounce back for Jay Wobben and the crew. Going to be close. Harding County, I'll go with them. 34-30. Harding County over Timberlake.
So last week, Timberlake won against Stanley County 22-20. And of course, Harding County Bison, they lost to Wall 55-0. That was the surprise to me as well.
Big blowout.
Last year, when these two teams meet, it was Timberlake winning against Harding County Bison 42-6. I'm going to say this. Not so fast, my friend. Not so fast. It's going to be Timberlake getting the win over the Harding County Bison Ranchers. It's going to be the second straight loss for the Ranchers. Give me the Panthers 32, the Ranchers 22.
Okay, on the road. There's the difference. All right, Brown's Best in the books. 5 games. Our game of the week, Stevens hosting number 1 Sioux Falls Jefferson tomorrow. Going to be a tough one for the Raiders. Can they get after it right out of the gate? Brown's Best in the books. Only 1 game difference in our decisions, and it's me taking the Ranchers. Matt Kearney going with Timberlake in the 9-man game of the week. He's the 9-man expert. We'll see who's right. Okay, we're up next with Mike Golick Jr. Let's talk college football and more. One of the great guests here on the Nate Brown Show next.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show. Follow us and watch the show live on Twitter at Nate Brown Show.
At Ace Steel and Recycling in Rapid City, our goal is to make recycling your materials so quick, so easy, and so profitable that you'll become a lifetime recycler. At Ace Steel and Recycling, we buy, process, and ship scrap iron, automobiles, stainless steel, and aluminum, including cans and cast. We also buy insulated wiring, as well as copper, brass, lead, batteries, zinc, and tungsten carbide. Visit acesteelusa.com or give us a call at 342-8649. Ace Steel and Recycling, 2830 Eglin Street, Rapid City.
So at Black Hills Health and Wellness Center, we have 4 chiropractors in the clinic, and our big focus is working on the musculoskeletal health of patients. Being in business in 39 years and having done business with every single bank in the area, in the community, in the last 2 years, we have definitely realized how much we have been missing out with the extra go-the-distance service that Pioneer Bank and Trust is willing to provide you. Pioneer Bank and Trust is local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Work, the kids' practices, household errands, seems like every hour's rush hour at our house. But no matter how busy things get, we still make balanced nutrition a priority with help from Country Hearth Natural Breads. Whole grains and other natural ingredients are carefully blended and baked into delicious, nutritious breads like Dakota-style 12-grain, multi-grain, and 100% whole wheat. There's a Country Hearth favorite for everyone in the family. Country Hearth Breads, baking our best for you.
Fans know some things just go together. Slam dunks and three-pointers, face paint and superfans, game days and tailgates. I'm State Farm agent Scott Carlson, and I know another winning combination, home and auto. Me and my team are here to help life go right when you combine your home and auto insurance, which saves you time and money. So get your home and auto on the same team and score some savings. Call me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, at 342-0188.
Hey, this is Rob Parker from The Odd Couple. Don't miss our show weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. right here on Fox Sports Rapid City. And now we'll send you back to Rapid City Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown Show.
Hey, welcome back in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show off and running on a Thursday. The Nate Brown Show live. Fox Sports Rapid City coming up. Lee Sterling's in from Paramount Sports, one of the top handicappers. We'll break down his games for the weekend. College, NFL on the way. Lee Sterling straight ahead. We'll go down to Denver tonight. Live report from the Broncos Colts. Thursday night football with George Stoya, Broncos beat writer, live from the Denver Gazette, live from the game. Colts Broncos. That's a biggie for my Broncos. That is a big one. It feels really big if they lose it. It feels really big in the big picture. Hey, Mike Golick Jr. is back on. He's on college football Saturday night here on Fox Sports Rapid City. Their game this week, by the way, Florida State, North Carolina State. How about that? I think that's good. NC State, Florida State, I like it. College football Saturday night from Learfield. He's the color man, the analyst, good stuff, and also has a podcast. If you don't know it, download it. Go Show Podcast. Go Show Podcast. Mike Golick Jr. on Twitter, at Mike Golick Jr., and he's back on the Nate Brown Show. Mike, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you having me.
Appreciate you coming on. So let's get into the college football week here. I want to ask you, I see a couple of big things here, and people have discussed this, Mike. Texas A&M, Alabama, the matchups happening. There was the Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban dust up here. I'm more focused on, can Texas A&M compete with Alabama? They did last year. We know that, okay? Can they compete with Alabama?
I don't think in their current form. Like, going back to last year's game, when you look at how they were able to stymie Alabama, a big part of it was, I think, the defensive play calling of Mike Elko, who's now the head coach at Duke and doing a phenomenal job there. The defense, I don't think, has been bad necessarily this year, but it's had to make up for a totally lifeless offense. And whether it was Haynes King, Max Johnson, the combination of the two that we've seen jumbled there at the quarterback spot, that's supposed to be Jimbo's specialty, they've been able to give them nothing. And if you're not going to be able to produce to that level, remember Zach Calzada was able to give them a really strong performance against Bama in that game in College Station last year. So I do not think this is going to go very well for them. I know for Alabama, there's the mystery around, will Bryce Young be back and healthy enough to go in this game? Will we see his backup again, who filled in admirably in the second half of the Arkansas game? I don't think had to do a ton through the air, but I just think you couple an already, I think, pretty sizable talent and production gap right now. We know Texas A&M's got it in the coffers, but it's not on the field producing for them yet. You couple that with a ticked-off Nick Saban, and I don't think the formula is a good one for A&M.
Okay, so A&M, if they lose, Mike, they're 3-3. The discussion's kind of around Jimbo Fisher, a $95 million deal, a 10-year contract. I asked my audience earlier this week, should a college football coach, any of them outside of Nick Saban, I guess, get a 10-year deal? What do you say about those deals? Mel Tucker has one as well at Michigan State, and they're struggling.
I think contracts are all about leverage, and a long time ago, Jimmy Sexton got a lot of it over a lot of schools, and he has made a lot of coaches very rich, and I can't fault them for that. They're going to go out there and get what's theirs, but you just wonder how long it's going to be sustainable, and then you remember college football boosters are not motivated by a return on investment. They are not motivated by the normal things that go along with business. They are motivated by an insane pride in their school that usually drives you to do ludicrous things when you've got really deep pockets. And we saw people ponying up for buyouts during the pandemic when we heard every athletic department crying poor and they were still finding a way to cut the check to get rid of a coach they didn't feel like was performing well enough in some of the most adverse circumstances we've ever seen, I think we've probably still got a while before this bubble bursts.
Mike Golic Jr. is on tonight. Go Show Podcast, his daily podcast. Download it where you find your podcast. Here I'm on Fox Sports Rapid City on college football Saturday night. The game this weekend, Florida State, NC State. By the way, Red River rivalry, Texas, Oklahoma, maybe not as much pizzazz here. Where are those two programs really at?
Well, I think Texas, you sort of get an incomplete grade because we saw the way that they were playing when you had Quinn Ewers at the helm at quarterback. And we know Hudson Card, who's filling in, played a bunch in 2021, certainly has experience. And he can't be the sole reason why this hasn't had the trajectory that maybe some Texas fans thought it might after that close call, moral victory against Alabama. But I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt until then. The defense looked a lot better in that stretch. The offense, really going back to last year, was solid. But for Oklahoma, I was a bit surprised how quickly the wheels came off that. I mean, that game against TCU wasn't close when Dylan Gabriel was in, let alone when he got knocked out of that game and now may be in question going forward for a bit. But the Brent Venables defense, what we thought with him and Ted Roof was going to come in and be a pretty substantial upgrade, and was during the first 3 weeks of the season. They had allowed the fewest amount of points since, I believe, 2013 in Norman. And now it just looks like an outfit that can't tackle very well, looks a step slow, and I think is really going to struggle a bit. Brent Venables is a quality enough coach and has been for a long time where I would trust him to be able to right the ship at some point, but it's certainly a concerning start for this era of Oklahoma football.
Mike Golic Jr. is on tonight here on the Nate Brown Show talking college football. I want to get your take on this, Mike, because I've been talking about the story this week. You're a younger guy, so I want some enlightenment here, so I'm not the guy yelling at the clouds. SMU had some players this week say, we're not going to play. Basically, they're kind of sitting out, and it's after that 4-game mark. You can play 4 games. You don't have to use a year of eligibility. And so it looks like, well, things aren't going as well. We're 2-2. Then they got beat last night, so they're 2-3. We can sit out, and when the transfer portal window opens, we'll go in there, and then everything's okay. How does how does a program deal with this dynamic?
Well, I think one of the things you'll probably end up seeing, and there's some places that already do a lot of this, is you'll see schools going deeper into their bench more often to try and keep guys satisfied and keep everyone involved and activated, because that's going to be a part of this, is players feeling like, all right, I've got an opportunity to see the field and show myself on tape, because I'm always going to be deferential. I'm a former player. I lived in these guys' shoes, so I'm always going to be partial to them. But I always point back to, they have 4 to 5 years, and now some guys 6 with the COVID year. But in general, 4 to 5 years to either live out your dream to play big-time D1 football, or show what you're capable of for the NFL crowd that might eventually draft you. And coaches, you can bop around, you can do wherever. You've got your lifetime to coach. These guys have that limited window, and so I don't fault them for trying to maximize it. I think we'll end up seeing some cautionary tales along the way, enough players that maybe leap before they look and find that there isn't a landing spot for them on the other side. But in the meantime, I always said it's going to force you as a college football coach to be more consistent with the message that you deliver in recruiting than ever before. If you sell promises in the living room that you can't keep when a kid gets to campus, you're going to feel the repercussions of that sooner than later. Word of mouth has always been the best recruiting tactic. When a guy gets on campus, they always used to come to the older guys in the team and ask, what is this coach really like? What is being on this team really like? And you shoot guys straight because you want everyone to make the right decision. And so I think being true to your word and creating a culture that practices what they preach is going to continue to be as important as it's ever been.
Mike Golic Jr. on tonight. College football Saturday night here on Fox Sports Rapid City. He's going to Raleigh. It's Florida State at NC State. We'll have it. And by the way, his podcast, Gojo Show, you can download it. I just saw this, Mike, before I let you run. You put out your DraftKings NFL Power Rankings. I do my own Power Rankings right here. You've got the Eagles at number 1, the Philadelphia Eagles. Tell me why.
A juggernaut in the trenches right now. I think what Howie and really what this entire staff and front office have done and put together around Jalen Hurts, who I always had said for the longest time tracked like a high-end backup and has played well beyond that, has continued to improve every year, and a lot of that goes to the credit of the circumstances around him. And that's not to diminish what he's done. That's the same thing the Buffalo Bills did for Josh Allen. It's the same thing the Baltimore Ravens did for Lamar Jackson. It's the same thing we watched the Miami Dolphins do for Tua Tagovailoa this offseason. And so the Philadelphia Eagles said, we're going to make sure we're healthy up in the trenches here. We're getting enlightened football from Fletcher Cox in a way we haven't seen for a while. Brandon Graham back healthy. Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey, that whole offensive and defensive line. And then you go out and you make the deal of the offseason during the draft and bring A.J. Brown, who opens up the middle of the field in a way that hadn't really been as much a part of the offense with Jalen Hurts at the helm. So you combine all that with a rushing attack that switched over to being the primary focus about midway through last year, that Nick Sirianni deserves a good amount of credit for realizing and doing what was right for himself. But as long as they're healthy, they've built such an armored tank around Jalen Hurts, and he has commanded this thing really well to the point where they seem like the most complete team in football right now.
Okay, and you're a believer in the Packers. You got them 5 in your top 5.
Yeah, you know what? And part of the Packers might just be confirmation bias at this point. I expected them to be good at the start of this season, and I'm trying to have an eye for the future to an extent. We know power rankings are always a mixed bag of what have you done and what might you be. I still look at the Packers and say, with Aaron Rodgers and the offensive line getting healthy, you're now in your second or third week of David Bakhtiari being back and taking meaningful snaps at left tackle. Elton Jenkins, maybe the most versatile offensive line piece in the NFL, back in that starting lineup. And Aaron Rodgers continuing to bring along these young wide receivers, I feel like that will balance out and allow a little more leeway for a defense that didn't look as up to shouldering the load early on as I thought they might. So they've managed to continue to skate by, obviously lost early in the division, the Vikings, but this is just as much about where I think they can still go sooner than later as it is where they are right now.
Follow him on Twitter. Good follow if you're not following him, at Mike Golic Jr., at Mike Golic Jr., Gojo Show podcast, and college football Saturday night, this Saturday, NC State hosting Florida State. Mike, thanks for the time. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate you.
All right, Mike Golic Jr. on the Nate Brown Show. Good stuff, talking college football, getting us started on a Thursday, breaking it down. Broke into a little NFL. I had to get his power rankings. He has the Eagles at number 1. I've got the Eagles at number 3. Okay, I told you that yesterday. I have the Eagles at number 3. He's got the Eagles at number 1. Here it is, Mike Golic Jr.'s power rankings without letting him tell you. Eagles 1, Bills 2, Chiefs 3. So I got the same 3 but different order. I got Chiefs 1, Bills 2, Eagles 3. And then he goes Ravens at number 4, Packers at number 5. I dropped the Ravens down to 7. I don't think their defense is up to speed. I do not think they've given up a big lead against the Dolphins, given up a big lead against the Bills. That's iffy for me. All right. Lee Sterling is in on a Thursday. You know that. Paramount Sports, one of the top handicappers, one of the games he's picking. I'll give you a clue. There's one tonight. Does he take the Broncos? 3-point favorites at home? Lee Sterling and his college and NFL picks for you next.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Rapid City.
Every time you play at First Gold Gaming Resort, you're locked and loaded to win your share of Deadwood's biggest giveaways. Starting with $8,600 in hot seat promo play drawings every Friday through Sunday. Saturday nights win $1,000 cash at the top of every hour from 5 till 11 p.m. And on Saturday, October 29th, it's the biggest of them all, the $18,000 Golden Cash Blast. First Gold Gaming Resort. It's where Deadwood begins and the winning never ends.
Hi, this is Cody Young at High Plains Physical Therapy and Aquatic Therapy Center. I started High Plains PT in 1999, and we've been providing personalized care in Rapid City to help our patients get back in action. Remember, you have a choice for who you go to see for physical therapy. With our state-of-the-art Aquatic Therapy Center, we are equipped to help you achieve your health goals. At High Plains, we'll give you the one-on-one treatment you deserve. We look forward to working with you at our new facility. To get started, visit highplainspt.com.
This house is freezing again. Winter is coming. Will it be cold inside your house again? Scan the QR code on your screen right now. Renewal by Anderson's incredible Winter is Coming sale is here. Buy one window or patio door, get the second one of equal or lesser value for 40% off, plus an additional 5% off the entire project if purchased on the initial consultation. And listen to this. No money down, no interest, no payments for 12 whole months. Payments as low as $89 a month. Hurry, this sale ends October 15th. Scan that code. Visit RBARapidCity.com now.
Mark Vargo here, talking about sweepstakes scams. We all want to receive that call that says we've won a sweepstakes, and scammers know this. If you receive a call or an email saying you've won, but you need to pay taxes by placing money on a gift card or by mailing cash, it's a scam. It is illegal to ask for funds up front for taxes, tariffs, or customs. If you've been victimized by this scam, please reach out to my Consumer Protection Division at 800-300-1986.
Hey, it's Chris Broussard. Remember to catch the Odd Couple weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. right here on Fox Sports Rapid City. And now, let's get back to Rapid City Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown Show.
Hey, welcome back in on a Thursday, one of our favorite days of the week, man. We get picks from Lee Sterling. Just wrapped up with Mike Golick Jr. getting us started on a Thursday. Packed tonight. Good stuff. We're going to go to Denver on the way. Live report from Broncos Colts Thursday Night Football with George Stoia, Broncos beat writer. Live coming up from Denver. The Nate Brown Show live on Fox Sports Rapid City. Here he is, Lee Sterling, back on. Let's get to the games. College, NFL. He's got 5 of them for you, and then he's got a game of the week that he likes. ParamountSports.com. Lee, good to have you back. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, ready to go for the weekend. Was that Bachman Turner Overdrive?
No, that was Grand Funk. Grand
Funk Railroad.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, you
I
know
think
that.
I saw them one time playing at one of the horse tracks here. So I'm into the old. Back to a couple months ago, ended up seeing some of these. I love the 70s throwback band. So that's what it's all about. It's all REO Speedwagon. So
I like it. Yeah. I'm with you on that, Lee.
Okay.
Let's get into this puppy. We're going to go Big Ten, and I'm trying to figure out Michigan State. I don't know if they're very good, and the line right here is Ohio State, 26-point favorites.
Do you think right now that maybe some people are saying, well, maybe we shouldn't have given Mel Tucker a 10-year contract?
Yeah.
So, everything went right for them last year, but there is not a whole lot of talent on this team this year. So he's going to have to, I think, hit the transfer portal and do some magic there. But right now, I'm just not feeling it here. Ohio State does have some questions. Their best running back, best receiver, game-time decision here, but Michigan State defense is awful. I mean, teams are throwing on them. 102nd pass defense. Their 2 cornerbacks, they can't stay with anyone. Giving up 10.3 yards per pass attempt. Last year, Ohio State won 56-7. I know everything went right in that game, and Michigan State was flat, but I just don't know if there's that much difference here than last year. And the series visitor, 18-9 against the spread. I have Ohio State winning, covering 45-13.
Okay, big blowout.
Yep.
Taking out Michigan State. Ohio State rolling. Okay, here it is. It's our Fox Big Noon kickoff game. Indiana just lost to the Huskers. Nebraska fans around here love it. Now Indiana taking on Michigan. Wolverines are 21-point favorites. What do you think? You impressed by Michigan?
Yeah, I am. The question here is, why didn't they play Blake Corum more last year? I mean, he was like their guy, their change of pace guy. But once he gets into the secondary, I mean, it is good night, Irene. I'm surprised that people aren't talking more about him for the Heisman. He's averaging 122 yards a game on the ground and 2 touchdowns, averaging 2 touchdowns a game. The Michigan D, they held Indiana last year to 195 total yards and just 7 points. Connor Bazelak, I mean, the first, third, and fourth quarter, he looked awful last week. I mean, he's a punch-and-Judy quarterback, no dual-threat capability. The second quarter, they were attacking. I mean, they were playing quick. And then they just stopped. I don't get it here. I don't think they're real well coached. The Hoosiers 3-15 against the spread the last 18 kind of tells you all you need to know. Michigan romper room special 41-14.
Wow. Lee Sterling in ParamountSports.com tonight. Let's take a look. One more in the Big Ten. Iowa's not the same team we've seen over the years. Illinois looks to be improved. How about Illinois? I never thought I'd see this. They're favored by 3 over the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, and they got to, if you can't pass the ball, you got to be able to run the ball really well. And Iowa only last week 1.5 yards per carry against Michigan. You got to do better than that. 2 rock-solid defenses here. I think the difference is Chase Brown for Illinois. Here's a guy that he can break tackles and make things happen yards after he's hit. And then Tommy DeVito can also do some things, not saying he's great. You know, sometimes he misfires on passes, but he can make things happen with his legs and buy some time, run for a first down here and there, and wait until a guy's open. His top 3 receivers, Bryant, Williams, and Hightower, each have at least 17 catches. They're better than anything Iowa has here. I just think they've got better players right now, believe it or not. Never thought I'd say that. Illinois, 17-10 over Iowa.
Okay, taking the Illini. Taking the Illini over Iowa. Let's go to the NFL, Lee. This is a Monday night game, and it's the Chiefs against the Raiders. Raiders beat my Broncos. I kind of saw that one coming. I didn't want it to happen. But Kansas City, 7-point favorites over Las Vegas.
So they were in a must-win situation for Vegas last week, and I think that partly played into it. And then whenever you have a strip fumble and it goes the other way for a touchdown, you're going to lose 85% of the time. Just write it down. That's the way things turn out. And I also thought the officiating was really poor. I saw at least 8 or 9 other offensive line holdings from the Raiders that weren't called. So I think that the Broncos got housed by the officials a little bit in that game. And now what we have is Kansas City. They just have owned Vegas here. I mean, Vegas played as hard as they could play last week, but they just don't match up against Kansas City. The last 2 years, the Raiders beat them 48-9 and 41-14. They not only won 8 of the last 9 at Arrowhead, they've covered 7 of 9, and Mahomes has been almost perfect, completing almost 75% of his passes, almost 700 yards. 7 touchdowns and no interceptions here. The Raiders are going to have to do more, start throwing to their tight end, some of their other complementary receivers. I mean, they're just going to keep doubling Adams and make him really work for it here. Kansas City's just too good here. I think they win this game here, 42-17.
Wow, that's a big number, and you're going with the Chiefs. I've been impressed, Lee. I have. Thursday night, we're going to Denver next, so let's hear from you. The Broncos hosting the Colts. One team's gonna maybe keep this season rolling. I think this is a kind of a make or break deal tonight, Lee. I really do for either of them. Broncos are 3-point favorites at home, and I think they really need it.
Oh yeah, and here's the problem with Indianapolis. And I'm watching this team, and if you think Denver's got problems, I think Indianapolis has even more problems. Their offensive line, which was a major strength last year, one of the top 3 offensive lines. They're not even average this year. I mean, only one of their 5 guys is grading out above 50% compared to the rest of the guys in the league. Last year they had 4 out of 5. So something's going on there. Jonathan Taylor wasn't the same. He may not play in this game. And you watch Matt Ryan. So here's the problem. Nate, you watch these guys, and they come out in the uniform. They look the same. You know, the problem is they're 4 or 5 years past their prime. And Matt Ryan, his reactions are too slow. He's not picking up receivers. He's in a new, offense, but not picking them up quick enough. Doesn't see even the rushers like he used to. Can't evade these guys. Doesn't see them. Can't evade them quick enough here. And then on top of that, he fumbles. I mean, only 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and all the fumbles he's had. They jumped on, he and his offensive lineman, a bunch of the fumbles. I think it continues. Denver has the better defense. They get it done tonight, 27-17.
All right, Broncos, they really need it. You're going to take them. Denver 3-point favorites. Lee Sterling on tonight. ParamountSports.com is the place. Your game of the week. It's a Friday night special. The Huskers are playing Rutgers. Nebraska, after their first FBS win, they're 3-point favorites all the way out in New Jersey.
Yeah, I love this game. There's a clear right side to this game. You want to get it Just call 800-400-9741. First 10 callers, we're going to give them the game for free. How much have we been on a roll, Nate? So check this out. Last week for our clients, 9-3. The week before that, 9-2. The 2 weeks before that, 8-3 and 6-3. We are on a 32-12 documented roll. You see all my games on the website under recent results, covers.com. Been documented there for the last 2 years, the number one handicapper in football. So do you want to hop on board? We don't call it October. We call it Locktober. You can get every game through the end of October, October 31st, just $297. All you need to do is use coupon code SAVE100, ParamountSports.com, and we'll also throw in the baseball. Baseball playoffs start tomorrow. We got 4 games each of the next 3 days. Everything through the World Series, everything added in baseball for free. $297, just one place. Don't wait until it's too late. ParamountSports.com.
Lee Sterling on tonight, and his game of the week, the Huskers-Rutgers. You can get it 800-400-9741. Lee, good stuff. I appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Thanks. See you, Nate.
All right. Lee Sterling on every Thursday on the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Rapid City, ParamountSports.com. Great breakdown of every game. Love having him. Find him on Twitter at Paramount Sports. But if you want that Husker game, he's giving it to you for free. Why not? 800-400-9741. It's not an infomercial, but he's giving you the Husker game. Huskers are 3-point favorites. What do you say? What do you say tomorrow? It's a Friday night game. Huskers 3-point favorites at Rutgers. Lee says he's got that game. So if you want to roll with them, take a free pick, 800-400-9741. You call him there. I'll give it to you for free. Coming back on the Nate Brown Show with a live report from Broncos Colts. We're going to go to the stadium right now. George Stoya is there, Broncos beat writer for the Denver Gazette, and he's live next.
From high school to college to the pros, this is the Nate Brown Show on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid City.
Have you hit a pothole or curb with your car? Does your vehicle need an adjustment or have an alignment, shock, or strut issue? Black Hills Tire is your one-stop shop for complete automotive service and repair in the Black Hills area. Trust your vehicle with no one else but Black Hills Tire. Contact Weston, Denise, and the guys at Black Hills Tire, where honesty, reliability, and safety is their top priority. Black Hills Tire voted the #1 shop for automotive repair and brake repair and tire store in the Black Hills. Ask about their free pickup and delivery. Black Hills Tire. Check them out online at blackhillstire.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Cloudy skies tonight with a chance for scattered showers. Lows level off around 37. East winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Cloudy skies expected again tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 54. Lows dip down to about 38 tomorrow night. Turning much warmer Saturday and Sunday with the highs from the mid-60s to the upper 60s. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 39.
All right, Rapid City, one of my favorite places is Pour 54 downtown. If you're looking for the best place to have a cold one with friends, maybe date night with your wife, or just go and watch the big game with some buddies in their great sports area upstairs, Pour 54 has it all. Plus 54 taps of beer from local and regional breweries, and it's self-serve. You don't have to wait around. You can get what you want right away. And the food's out of this world. I love the Detroit-style pan pizzas. Check out Pour 54. You'll love it. Downtown Main Street.
Are you thinking about starting or expanding a business? At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, our dedicated business lending team focuses on understanding our members' unique needs and truly wants to help them succeed. From the loans to get your business off the ground to the accounts to keep it running, we offer unique products with your business's best interest in mind. Learn more at bhfcu.com or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is a member-owned, not-for-profit.
What can Elevate Performance do for your athlete? Brandon Drum, D2 lacrosse player at Mars Hill University.
I started going to Elevate Performance for problems with my knee, and after working with Britt, he identified some other issues that helped me prevent severe injury. Elevate's strength and conditioning program also helped me perform at a much higher level. My goal was to play college lacrosse, and I am thankful for Britt and Elevate for helping me achieve that goal. Elevate worked with me on a personal level and helped mold me into a stronger athlete.
Get your athlete started at elevateperformancesd.com.
Hi, it's Colin Coward. Great to be in the Black Hills. Getting the Herd weekdays 10 to 1 on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show live, 106.7 FM, 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City on the radio side. If you can't hear us, you get out of range on the radio side, bring us up on your phone, foxsportsrapidcity.com. Easy to do, one click away there, foxsportsrapidcity.com. Live stream, always there. Also, if you missed some of the show, there's some great guests this week. Go to the Nate Brown Show podcast, every show, every guest, right there. So you can listen to the podcast when you have the time. Walking the dog in the morning, you can play the podcast and see the guests that we have, like Lee Sterling. He made his picks just moments ago for the weekend games, college NFL picks. George Stoia is live in Denver, getting set to cover Broncos-Colts tonight. Let's go to the game. Broncos-Colts Thursday Night Football. He's with the Denver Gazette, Colorado Springs Gazette as well. Gazette.com, where you find his work, coverage of the Broncos. George Stoia on Twitter, at George Stoia. George, thanks for the time. Good to have you back. How are you?
Good, Nate. I'm hanging out in the press box right now, so I'm ready for kickoff here soon.
All right. So I've been in that press box a couple of times, okay? What's the layout now? I haven't been there for a while. I was there during the Tebow days, George. During the Tebow days, okay? What's the layout? Do we have good food tonight? What are we looking like?
Yeah, the food's not bad. Some mashed potatoes and chicken, I believe.
All right.
Some different hash browns and stuff. Good seat tonight. So yeah, it's good here in Denver.
You got to keep the media food happy, right? Food happy. So they're going to give you the comfort food. Okay. It feels like tonight, George, and you can tell me, Broncos country is restless, and if they don't win tonight, I never usually over-exaggerate too much because I try and be reasonable. There's a lot of season left. They don't win tonight, you wonder if it keeps going downward. It feels like a kind of a trajectory game either way.
Definitely. I think you could make that case for both these teams, right? I think both teams are coming in here really wanting a win in terms of underwhelming performances so far this season. I mean, the expectation for the Broncos this year was to start the season really, sitting about 3-1. Obviously, they're sitting at 2-2, and really they haven't performed well in almost any of those games. When you think about it, I mean, you think back to the Seahawks, that felt like a game they should have won. They barely beat the Texans at home. They get a nice win over the 49ers, and then kind of put together a stinker there on Sunday in Las Vegas against an 0-3 Raiders team. So I think that that's definitely the case here in Denver. People are expecting a win tonight, and obviously in primetime, their third primetime game in 5 games. I think that Broncos fans really want to see a win, and I think you're right. I mean, obviously it's a long season, but tonight would be a pretty big downer if they were not able to beat a Colts team that has really struggled.
I just saw this break just minutes ago. Billy Turner, good offensive lineman, finally active tonight. You would expect that to be a pretty big upgrade.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's one spot that they've really struggled, and really across the entire offensive line, they've struggled through the first, 4 games. And last week, Russell Wilson got sacked a few times, and that's been sort of an issue. And so I think that having him back now, I don't know how much he'll play tonight. I know he's active. I would assume that means he's going to play, but they've done that a few times with some other guys, activating them, and then they don't play. So I do think he will, but I think that would be a huge get. Obviously, he's a guy that they signed this offseason from Green Bay, knows this offense, knows Nathaniel Hackett, and that right side has really been a problem for the Broncos, playing Cam Fleming and then also Graham Glasgow, 2 guys that were not supposed to start this season over there at right guard and right tackle. So getting a guy like Billy Turner, the experience that he has, would be a huge boost for them tonight.
Broncos beat writer live from the stadium for Thursday Night Football. It's George Stoia, Gazette.com, the work there and the coverage of the Broncos. So the big one is Javonte Williams out for the year, and I hope his career can be revived. It looks like a bad injury to the knee. But now it's Melvin Gordon. How many carries do you believe Gordon's going to get, Mike Boone's going to get? It's kind of a two-headed deal here. They split the load?
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be Melvin being the workhorse tonight. Now, what does it look like next week? I'm not exactly sure. Obviously, they brought in Latavius Murray, a veteran that has obviously played a lot of football. I think there's a chance that he starts splitting the load once he's ready to go. He's not playing tonight. Played in London just a couple days ago, and then obviously trying to learn an entire new offense in a short week it just wasn't possible for him to play tonight. So I do think it'll be Melvin, and I know there's some people out there that don't think that should be the case, but when you look at his experience, he's a guy that has played really well. I know he fumbles the ball, but if he can ever figure that out, he's obviously a really good running back, and I think that they trust him to be that guy. I mean, that's why they brought him back this year is to be a guy that they can rely on if Javonte did go down, and obviously he did. So I think he's someone that they'll rely on. I think Mike Boone will get some carries tonight. He's a guy that's played some good football, but only has 2 career starts. So I just don't think that he's going to be the guy that they rely on a ton, but he will be in the game quite a bit.
Okay, let me ask you, George, when you look at Russell Wilson, Nathaniel Hackett in the offense, here's what people are debating kind of right now. Are they really trying to make Russell Wilson a pocket passer, meaning he doesn't want to run all the time now? He's getting to that age. He's trying to adjust his game, pocket passing. Yet I don't know if you can make that big adjustment. Russ's game is what made him so good. Do you believe the Broncos are trying to have him be a pocket passer, or are they going to have to do some rollouts, play action, a lot of that stuff on the move?
Yeah, no, I think they have been. Now, that's not to say that they're not telling him not to get out of the pocket and make some of those plays, but I think when you look at, obviously, some of the play calling, you haven't seen a ton of that getting out of the pocket, and I think that has been an emphasis. Now, he's a little bit older, 33 years old. He's been in the league a long time, taking some big hits, and I think that's part of it. They want to make sure that he's healthy, for an entire season, but I think you're onto something in terms of when he's at his best, he's able to run the football. I mean, you saw last week, I think he ran for about 30 yards and then also, scored a touchdown with his legs. And those are the things that he's really good at. You look at the drive he put together against the 49ers on Sunday Night Football a couple weeks ago. He used his legs on multiple plays there to get them down the field. So I do think that they probably need to open that up a little bit, let him kind of do his thing. And I don't know how much of that is, the Broncos doing that, and also maybe Russell also saying, hey, I want to make sure that I'm more comfortable in the pocket moving forward. So it's going to be interesting to see if they adjust that going forward, because we did see him get out of the pocket a little bit more last week, and he played his best game as a Bronco. So I wonder if they lean on that, carry some of that momentum this week with him.
George Stoia on tonight. One more. I'll let him get back to it. He's prepping for the game. Gazette.com, Broncos beat writer, live for Broncos Colts. Colts offense hasn't been good. Broncos defense pretty good up until last week. The door was open for them. They couldn't close the deal with the Raiders. So I look at the Broncos defense here against the Colts offense. What do you say happens?
Yeah, I mean, you look at what's gone wrong with Matt Ryan this year. He's turned the ball over quite a bit. Obviously, the 5 interceptions. He's fumbled a few times. I think he's been sacked 15 times. And then now they're without Jonathan Taylor, their best offensive weapon tonight. I think that this Broncos defense, they're down Randy Gregory, but I do think that this is a good game to bounce back. Obviously, they gave up 200 yards on the ground last week to the Raiders, and specifically Josh Jacobs, and to get a break like not having to face Jonathan Taylor tonight, I think is huge for them, and I think that they can clean up some of the tackling, some of the issues up front. The middle linebackers playing a little bit better. I think they'll be in good shape, but I think this Broncos secondary is waiting for maybe some turnovers tonight. Like I said, Matt Ryan's thrown 5 interceptions this year, and you look at this Broncos secondary, I'd argue that it's one of the best in the league when you talk about Pat Surtain and Kareem Jackson, Ronald Darby. Those guys have been playing really good football so far this year, so I would expect that maybe they can turn Matt Ryan over tonight.
Broncos, it's a big game for both sides. Offense needs to really get going, I think. Hopefully they can. The defense, you gotta shut the door tonight. It's the Colts, Broncos. George Stoia with the coverage. Broncos beat writer tonight from the Stadium Gazette.com for the Denver Gazette. Find him on Twitter at George Stoia. George, thanks for coming on. I appreciate the time.
Yeah, thanks, Nate.
I appreciate it. George Stoia on Fox Sports Rapid City from Broncos Colts. Gazette.com, Broncos beat writer, live. This is, I hate to, put too much hype into one game. And, I had some listeners say, hey, the Colts beat the Chiefs, man. I mean, look out. And I said, this feels like a trajectory game. What do I mean? Like, you can start your ascent. The winning teams, Broncos win. They're 3-2. Still feeling pretty good. I'm feeling good with that. I really am. You go 2-3, lost to the Raiders, lose to the Colts. Then again, you have to ask yourself, as a reasonable Broncos fan like me, I'm reasonable, where are the Broncos going? Losing to the Colts at home, however that may happen, where are they going if that happens? This is a monster for me tonight. It is a monster game tonight. Into the drive at 5 on a Thursday. I've got a couple of things to discuss. One is 5 questions from Chris. Okay, it's a Thursday. Loyal listener Chris sends them in. I send out the answers. 5 questions from Chris. We'll shoot through the sports scene there. And then this. The NBA just announced they're going to start doing something new with fans that are acting unruly. Okay, here we go. So, NBA, other stadiums, they've had problems with fans. NBA's had some notable cases. The NBA said, we're going to start doing this to try and curb this behavior with fans. Do you buy it? We'll discuss it next.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show.
Hey, Cobbler and Raider fans, you can now show your school spirit and earn money for your booster club. It's easy to get your Raider or Cobbler custom designed debit card today from Highmark Credit Union. Simply open a Highmark free basic checking account and get your Raider or Cobbler debit card. Plus, each swipe will earn money for your booster club. Show your school spirit and support the Raiders and Cobblers with a custom designed debit card. Visit highmarkfcu.com.
Are you ready for football season? The king of sportsbooks, BetMGM at Tin Lizzy, is ready for football. Tin Lizzy's BetMGM Sportsbook is the best sports betting experience in South Dakota. From college football to the NFL, make your bet, take in the game, as there's not a bad seat in the house. Your sports betting home for football is Tin Lizzy and BetMGM Sportsbook. Bet on your favorite team and the biggest games. Make your play at Tin Lizzy BetMGM Sportsbook, Main Street, Deadwood.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear. Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
From the kennel to the coop, whatever the season, Fleet Farm has everything to keep your animals happy and healthy. From training your pup to sit season, to mastering those retrieval skills season. From clipping your horse for competition season, to keeping the backyard birds well-fed season. And of course, loving your pets like family season. There's a reason people say, if Fleet Farm doesn't have it, you don't need it. Because we have it all. Fleet Farm, built for real life.
Here at Pizza Ranch, we appreciate innovations in food delivery, like how the ancient Italians used to slingshot hot meals to hungry Romans on the go. And while we appreciate the creativity, it turned out to be, well, a little messy. So, we found a better way to bring you our legendary pizza, the country's best chicken, and our one-of-a-kind cactus bread. Just place your order online, on the phone, or on our app, and then pick it up or have it delivered right to your door. All nicely packaged in clean, sturdy, non-flying boxes. No catching necessary. Pizza Ranch. Mmm.
Everyone knows scratch tickets make great gifts during the holidays. But think about it. Scratch tickets are a perfect pick-me-up for a lot of occasions. Need to thank someone? Give them a scratch. Need to say I'm sorry like you really mean it? Give a scratch. Say congrats to that promotion. New house or your friend's new dog that looks more like a possum than a poodle. You know that thing likes a good scratch. The next time you need a gift that says whatever like you mean it, quit scratching your head and just give them a scratch. Scratch tickets from the South Dakota Lottery. Good fun. Must be 18 to play. Please play responsibly.
Hi, this is Dan Patrick. Remember to catch me weekday mornings from 7 until 10 a.m. right here on 106.7 FM and 1150 a.m. Fox Sports Rapid City. And now, back to Rapid City's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back on a Thursday. It's always a great day in the Black Hills. We're into the drive at 5. Thursday night football tonight. Broncos, Colts. I'm jacked and ready. I have parent-teacher conferences tonight first. So I gotta hustle. I don't want to be in a bad mood going to the parent-teacher conferences, right? Am I going to be in a bad mood after parent-teacher conferences? That's the question. We'll see. I hope my kids are doing well. Let's suck it up a little bit, all right? And then I got to get home for Broncos, Colts, and then I might get in a bad mood. It might just be one of those Thursdays. Matt Zimmer is coming up on the Nate Brown Show. We'll talk Jackrabbits, Coyotes, everybody. Jacks, Yotes, Matt Zimmer covering it. Argus leader from Sioux Falls. He'll give us a preview on the way. Rob Kegron's on tonight. It's a football pick'ems Thursday. We've got 5 NFL games. We'll get the picks later this hour from Rob Kegron. Speaking of picks, I'm going to pick my Major League Baseball World Series winner. I'm going to go through every series. We haven't done that. We have to do it. Wild card starts tomorrow. Major League Baseball playoffs. I love the postseason in baseball. And I'll pick my winners coming up. The Drive at 5 on the Nate Brown Show, driven by Summit Automotive Group. When it comes to pre-owned selection, Stacy and Matt have the best selection. They have the best vehicles, cars, trucks, SUVs right now. Great selection, quality. SummitAutoGRP.com. Start there. Take a look on your phone. If you're looking pre-owned, SummitAutoGRP.com. All right, 720-1067 is our number on the Barron's Wilson text line. You can text the show, 720-1067. And also you can join us live on the line studio, 720-1067. I have a question of the day before we get to 5 questions from our guy Chris. 5 questions from Chris on a Thursday coming up. I have a question of the day, though. I just saw this morning. So at sports, we talk about locally or youth tournaments and stuff. We talk about some fans that kind of lose their minds. We've touched on that. And the NBA, the last couple of seasons, there's been some notable cases where fans have yelled at players. There's been some nasty stuff going on. Fans have thrown stuff at players, ever since the malice at the Palace, right? Ron Artest and that whole mess. Just even over the last couple of seasons, there's been some fan incidents with players. Players getting said certain things and the incidents during the games. So the NBA is trying to do something about that going into this season. I ask you if you think this is the right call, if this will work. So here's what's going on. And I just saw the card. The NBA is going to be monitoring the fans at arenas this year. And if they see some unruly behavior or get like a tip, right, from fans. Sometimes you go to these games, if you've been to them, hey, if there's a bad fan in your section, text 222 to, and then so if they get those tips, they're going to come up there, and what they're going to do is the NBA is going to hand out warning cards to fans that are exhibiting bad behavior, fans that are heckling or whatever it may be. It's a pretty long list of things. I was looking at the NBA card this morning that they're going to hand out. So here at the arenas, the teams are going to be looking at fans. Hey, this fan's a doorknob, so you're going to get a warning. The NBA is handing out warning cards to fans that are exhibiting the bad behavior. My question to you tonight, as a Fox Sports Rapid City listener, do you think that will work? Meaning, you get the warning card, and then if they continue acting up or they continue that, whatever they were doing, then they're going to get ejected. So essentially, it's like, hey, we don't want to boot you. Maybe you paid $2,000 for these tickets. Maybe you've had too much of Grandpa's cough medicine. You got to chill. Otherwise, you're going to get ejected. So here's your warning card from the NBA. Here's your warning card, and it goes through. Hey, don't do this. You're going to get ejected. If they do, then second time is the strike, I guess, and then you are ejected. My question, will that work? Is it the right call? 720-1067 if you want to sound off on that. I want to see what you vote. Yes, it's a good way to stop it. Get out in front of it. Warn the fans. Here's your warning card. You got a warning. Clean it up, Larry. Otherwise, you're gone. Or I just want to ask you, should they just eject them right there? Should you just be ejected right there? What do the listeners say today? 720-1067 on the Nate Brown Show. NBA handing out warning cards to fans for the first-time offense. If it continues, you get ejected. Is that the right call? 54% say yes, it's a good way to stop it. 46% say no, not going to work, just eject them right away. So this is kind of a tough one for me because I tend to think you should, if you're being that much of a moron, if you're being a moron, I think you should be able to get ejected. I don't think it's like, hey, here's the warning card. Hey, take it easy. Can you take it easy? Most of the time, guys that are acting that crazy, I don't think they're going to really care about, the warning card. Yeah, who cares? Blank that. I'm going to do what I do. I'm feeling like ejection is the right thing. I mean, I see fans getting ejected all the time at some of these things, right? Fans that are out of control, and they just get ejected. I mean, I think you have to have that control, that fan behavior. You got to have that long arm of the law. Not, here's a warning, kind of pretty please. Will you kind of stop being a doofus? I don't know about that. I don't want to eject somebody that's just maybe heckling or kind of having fun, and people are, turning him in. I mean, that's where it gets a little dicey. Gets a little dicey. Should you get ejected, boom, right away? It really depends of what level you're at of bad fan behavior, I think. So it's a tough one. Thanks for calling. You're live today, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. What do you think?
Well, I think they need to eject them right away. I was game some years ago, and some guy threw a partial water bottle down from the upper deck to the lower deck, and they kicked. Well, he was gone. Boom! Like as soon as somebody alerted an usher.
Yeah, and I think that's okay, right?
Yeah. Well, you could kill somebody, hit him in the head. He threw it from the upper deck down to the lower deck, and it wasn't an empty water bottle. It was like half full. And you hit somebody in the head, you could kill them. And so, people that are arguing amongst, you get some sections where there's fans from both teams, and they have too much to drink and they're kind of yelling back. There's a little clean fun is one thing, but, sometimes when people start swearing or, getting pretty nasty, I think they need to nip that in the bud. And
I think
no warning for those.
I think you got to be able to boot them. I do. I think you got to be able to boot them. I don't want to boot everybody all the time, but the warning card to me, maybe good intentions. I don't know. Looks like, well, don't do that again, please. Well, and then it happens again, and then all of a sudden 5 other people are mad. Well,
I hope the NFL backs up those 2 players from the Rams the other night when they decked that guy with a smoke.
Oh, I hope so too. I hope so too. I mean,
I see the guy file a police report, but they need to protect. I mean, you don't do something. You need to knock those guys down right now. Otherwise, it just encourages other behavior.
If you're a fan going onto the field like that, you're free game. I'm sorry to tell you.
Well, yeah, it's in those smoke bombs. Plus, so you could burn somebody else. The guys trying to tackle you, the security guys, can get burned. In the case like that. So
let's hope that case doesn't go anywhere. I appreciate it, man.
I hope the NFL comes down hard on this guy.
I appreciate it. Thanks for getting in. 720-1067 of the Nate Brown Show. Listener text. They should just boot the fan right away. Stupidity spreads fast. Before you know it, now you're dealing with a rumble in a whole section. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I don't I don't know if the warning cards are the right way to go. I really don't. The NBA is going to hand out warning cards to fans that are exhibiting bad behavior. If you do it again, you get ejected. 54% of you say yes, that's a good way to stop it. 46% say no, just eject them right away. All right, let's get into this. I've got some baseball to get to. I got to get to this. Baseball picks later this hour. And then I got this story that just came out with Joe Madden. Joe Madden, longtime manager of my Cubbies, and then was with the Angels, and they fired him. He's got a new book coming out, and Sports Illustrated just had an excerpt. And I'll tell you, it's interesting what happened with the Angels team in the middle of a game. It kind of gives you the big picture of where baseball is at today. In the middle of a game with Joe Madden. I want to get to that. First 5 questions from Chris. Let's knock it out, Chris, right here, right now on the Nate Brown Show and the Drive at 5. 5 questions from Chris. Question number 1 from our guy, Chris. Nate, you had a question of the day last week about how college football attendance has been down for 7 straight years. Attendance down to lowest level since 1981. Could it be that fans have realized under the current playoff system their team's out of any playoff hope? Do you think maybe with the expansion of the playoffs, it'll increase fan interest in spending their day at their football stadium? I don't, Chris. I don't. I think this whole I'm at the game thing, or I'm watching it on TV with friends, and I've got 4 screens up there, and it's a great experience, and it's really easy. I don't have to pay to park. I don't have to walk. It's a whole deal. I love live games. I love going to games. Always have. That's why I wanted to be a play-by-play guy back in the day. I want to be at the game. But I don't think expanding the playoffs and maybe there's more interest for other teams, I don't think that's it. I think fans are just not wanting to deal with this headache or that deal or that price. I think it's a trend that I think is going to continue in college football. Question number 2. Minnesota Twins signed Carlos Correa to a 3-year, $105 million contract with a player opt-out. The expectation was maybe he could be the final piece to take the Twins to the postseason, but now the disappointing season has happened for the Twins. Do you think the front office statement of how disappointing the attendance was at Target Field was the right thing to say, or was their statement a way to blame fans for Correa maybe opting out of his contract? Yeah, it's a tough one there. I don't think Carlos Correa had plans of being with the Twins long term. The Twins tried buying they're like, hey, it's rent-a-player. It's kind of the rent-a-player, right? We don't have to spend a boatload, but if he stays with us, he's a top-tier talent. It's not a long deal, so we'll do this deal, but hey, you can opt out every year if you want, Carlos, if we're not. The Twins kind of went into that thing soft. I think the front office really did. They were like, hey, could we rent a player and hopefully it goes well this year? It didn't. I don't see Carlos Correa being a long-term deal for the Twins because they usually don't pay what other teams are going to pay. I think the front office is just not able to get that done. Question number 3. An average of 11 million people watching Amazon Thursday Night Football for the first 3 weeks. But as people have watched, they've noticed there's no beer commercials because of their policy. Do you think the NFL and the various beer companies should be worried about this ad policy spreading to other TV broadcasters of the NFL? Beer companies, the NFL, so closely tied together. Yeah, I've noticed that. We were talking about that. No beer, no alcohol, right, on the Amazon stuff. And it's like Jeff Bezos doesn't need it. He doesn't need that stuff. I would tell you this, Chris. I don't think all the other outlets are going to have to worry about a thing. The beer companies are going to be well represented in the NFL. That's just my guess. Jeff Bezos maybe doesn't need the beer money. Everybody else will take the beer money. Question number 4. Aaron Judge finally hit 62. Should baseball fans in general view his accomplishment as the true home run king? Oh boy, Chris, I didn't know you would ask me that. Have I answered that question yet on this show? Is Aaron Judge the true home run king? I don't think I have. I've kind of been down that fence of, well, Barry Bonds hit 73, Judge hit 62, but it's in the clean version of the game. Who's the real home run king? You can like me or not, I can't take it away from Bonds. I can't take 73 homers. Whatever was happening, the muscle coming out of his forehead those years, yeah, I know. Whatever was happening, I can't take away the 73 from Bonds. Because why? I don't know how many he would have hit if he wasn't allegedly doing PEDs. I don't know how. Would he have hit 64? I don't know. I'm not going to play that game. So Aaron Judge, unbelievable American League record. It is. And I think he deserves a ton of respect in the clean. I believe it's clean. That's a big thing. But I can't take 73 away from Bonds. I can't do it. Question number 5, wild card round of baseball playoffs start tomorrow. Are we going to see any upsets? Who's going to move on to the divisional round? Chris, you've got it. That's question number 5. I'm not going to answer that yet. I'm going to answer it later this hour because I've got my full predictions of wild card, ALCS, NLCS, World Series. I want to run through it right then, okay? 5 questions from Chris. Baseball predictions still to come in the books on a Thursday. Matt Zimmer's up next. Jacks, Coyotes this weekend. Matt Zimmer with the preview. The Jacks have the edge next.
Did you miss an interview or great segment on The Nate Brown Show? Just find The Nate Brown Show podcast and listen wherever you download your podcasts.
Today on Hey Culligan, buy to save. Here's a text from Devin in Denver. Hey Culligan, I'd love a water softener, but I don't want to pay for it. Devin, I can't help you there, but a Culligan high-efficiency softener can help you save oodles on energy and detergent, so the savings can be even greater than the cost. And I'm getting a mind-blown emoji followed by, yes please. Devin, the savings are already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
We're all going somewhere. Going higher, faster, farther. Going in new directions, to new places. At Monument Health, we keep going so you can keep going. We're dedicated to advanced orthopedic care with the latest innovations, technology, expertise, and treatment. So keep exploring, keep making memories, keep going with Monument Health as your partner. Learn more at monument.health/orthopedics.
With home values rising in the Black Hills, a cash-out refinance loan from Black Hills Community Bank is a great choice. Thinking about home improvements or projects? Think about a cash-out refinance. Possibilities are endless. Consolidate your debt into one mortgage payment. Tap into the equity of your home with Black Hills Community Bank. Get started today using the online loan application at bhcbank.com or call to speak to a mortgage banker. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
Live from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Details Studio. Sales, service, and recreation. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hey, welcome back in on the Drive at 5 of the Nate Brown Show, driven by Summit Automotive Group, SummitAutoGRP.com. I'm going to predict the Major League Baseball postseason. It's dangerous. It's dangerous to do that, but we're going to do it, okay? Postseason starts tomorrow, wild card games. I love it. We'll get into that coming up. Plus, I have to answer question number 5 from Chris. 5 questions from Chris. We only got to 4. Got to go with question 5. The baseball predictions coming up. Let's go to the Jackrabbits, Coyotes. ArgusLeader.com, Sioux Falls, coverage with Matt Zimmer. Get set for the matchup. Yotes, Jacks, Argus Matt Z on Twitter. Follow him here this weekend. They play in Brookings. Matt, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm good, Nate. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. So on the surface here, it's always a big rivalry, always fun. I got people here in Rapid City throwing a party. I got Jackrabbit, Coyote fans, alumni out here. And I look on the surface here. How tough of a season do you see USD having up to this point?
It's been the degree of difficulty couldn't be any higher. You know, I mean, someone's always got to have the toughest schedule in the nation, but I don't know if anyone's ever had it quite as crazy as USD. I mean, they opened with Kansas State, which isn't just, an FBS, a Big 12 school. They're ranked 20th in the country right now at that level. Then they played number 1 and number 2, and now they're going to play number 3 in the FCS poll. So, they did win the one game that they had that was a quote-unquote a break against Cal Poly, and they've lost the other ones, and it's tough for them to be 1-3, but it's hard to judge just how good or bad they are when you have a schedule like that, because frankly, they weren't supposed to win any of those 3 games so far, and they're not supposed to win this Saturday. That doesn't mean they won't, but it's certainly been about as tough sledding as you could ask for.
Okay, that's interesting you say it, because I'm watching them against NDSU. I was watching that game, and I'm like, man, they look good, right? That first half, it was good. And then things went south there, and the Bison took control. But I'm like, is that the type of team you get? And if they play like that, what type of matchup could this be?
Yeah, I mean, their offense has been a lot better in the last couple games since Bob Nielsen took over as the play caller. But again, I think also part of that is, the first 2 games were against Kansas State and Montana. And defensively, I don't think they probably are real happy with some of the statistics. They've given up a lot of yards and that kind of thing. But they've done a nice job of keeping teams out of the end zone. They've been pretty stiff in the red zone. You mentioned North Dakota State in the second half of that game. They just kind of did what North Dakota State does. They're a physical team that dominates up front, and they tend to wear you down, and I think that's what they did to USD that day. But USD matched their physicality in the first half of that game. And if they can do that again on Saturday here and do it for 60 minutes rather than, maybe say 20 or 30 or 40, then they got a good shot to win.
Matt Zimmer's on covering the game. Jackrabbits host the Coyotes Saturday in Brookings, ArgusLeader.com, live from Sioux Falls here. I'll talk to you about the Jacks. You see them a lot. So I look at them, I say, these guys look like they're rolling, looking good right now. Any question marks for you for the Jacks right now?
There's a couple. Offensively, they just haven't been as explosive as they have been in the past. Isaiah Davis had a big game last week against Western Illinois, rushing for 200 yards. But we just haven't seen that, big play home run capability that he has had in previous seasons. Mark Gronowski, the quarterback, played great 2 weeks ago at Missouri State. The other games, he hasn't been as sharp as I think they've hoped he would be. Some of that's, they've gone up against some really good defenses. Some of that is they've had some injuries. Tucker Kraft is probably their best player, and he hasn't played at all. They have a new offensive coordinator, some new guys on the offensive line. It just seems like a lot of factors have kind of come together to keep them from quite, clicking on all cylinders on offense. But it seems like they've gotten better every week. Like I said, USD is a defense that's given up a lot of yards, if not points. So there's some potential for them to do some things there. As far as other question marks, their defense has been great. But the kicking game has been a little bit questionable lately. So that's something, too. In these rivalry games, they very often go down to the wire, last-second plays. We all remember what happened last year. The kicking game can decide a game like that. So that's something to keep an eye on, too.
Does USD think they can win these games?
I think much more now than they did before. I mean, if winning a game when you have the ball at your own 40-yard line with 1 second left doesn't give you confidence that you're never out of it, I don't know what does. But I definitely think, that they had lost 10 in a row, and they hadn't beat them since, 2000 or something like that. Then they finally beat them in 2019. They got the monkey off their back. That was obviously really big for their confidence as a program. But then I think doing it again last year, backing it up, winning 2 in a row, and doing it in the fashion that they did, this improbable, amazing comeback, last-second Hail Mary, that should give them a lot of confidence. And, as good as SDSU is, and as much as the fact that, USD has a 1-3 record coming into this game, at the very least they can come in saying, hey, we've played 4 incredible football teams so far. The Jacks aren't going to have any sort of, level of talent or ability or size or speed or anything that they haven't already encountered.
Yeah, that's interesting. USD schedule really, really tough. I'm trying to figure out, will that have them tested for Saturday, or have they already been worn down a little bit? As you said, Bob Nielsen, the head coach, calling the plays and kind of taking over that side. Matt Zimmer's on tonight. ArgusLeader.com for the coverage. Jacks Yotes coming up Saturday in Brookings. How much does it matter playing in this game in the Dome or playing it there in Brookings?
Well, USD hasn't won in Brookings since the year 2000. Now, that's not actually that many games because, there was the 8-year layoff, and they didn't play in 2020 because of COVID. Haven't played there since 2018. hard to say what kind of factor that'll be. I mean, almost no one on USD's roster was in the lineup that day, played in that game 2018. The only guy that did, Josh Manchegaya, was playing for SDSU at the time. So, it's hard to say. The weather isn't going to be a big factor. Last time they played there, it was 10 degrees and snowing. It's going to be 60 degrees and sunny, it sounds like. But I do think, it certainly works to SDSU's favor that it's their field, they're at home, and also, there's going to be a big crowd. They got 15,000 last Saturday for Western Illinois, and that's probably the least attractive home game they had all year. If they can get 15 for Western Illinois, it should be close to a full house for this game, and if the past is any indication, there's not going to be a lot of red there. We haven't seen USD fans show much of a willingness to travel for that game, and, if I'm a USD player, I look up into the stands and go, wow, I don't see any red. That's awesome. I mean, I wonder if that doesn't give a little bit of a psychological edge to the Jacks, too.
Jackrabbits' defense has been really good. The Coyotes' offense has been a little bit of a struggle. I wonder if that's where it's won.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, you've heard South Dakota State's defense all week has been very complimentary of Carson Camp, the USD quarterback, Travis Tyson, their running back group, very physical. But, yeah, there have been times where it hasn't gone so well for them. You just mentioned the North Dakota State game. Outstanding for a half, and then they kind of went to sleep in the second half. So it's hard to know what to expect, especially against an SDSU defense that's giving up like 50 rushing yards a game. I mean, if you take away a couple big plays, they've barely given up any points the entire season. So that's going to be a challenge. But USD was off last week, so not only are they going to be a little fresher, that gave Bob Nielsen a whole extra week to prepare for that defense and maybe find some ways he can attack it.
I think it's going to be interesting. I really do. USD only has one win. It's been a tough road, tough schedule. Jackrabbits, one of the top teams in the FCS. Jacks, Yotes, Matt Zimmer with the coverage Saturday, ArgusLeader.com. Find him on Twitter. Follow him there for the coverage, Argus Matt Z. Matt, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
You bet, Nate. See ya.
Appreciate the time. Matt Zimmer tonight talking Jacks, Yotes, ArgusLeader.com. Live from Sioux Falls. That game in Brookings coming up Saturday. By the way, I had my guy James reach out. James is an alumni here, an alumnus. James, a listener to the Nate Brown Show here in Rapid City, says they're hosting a Jackrabbits Coyotes watch party at the Shriner Hall. At the Shriner Hall. It's going to be called The Dispute. The Dispute. What's going to happen there, James? The Dispute. Are we going to be friendly? No, they're going to have a good time. He said they're hoping to do this every year. Jackrabbit alums, Coyote alums, getting together, watching the game together. That's fun. That's fun stuff. It's going to be at the Shriner Hall coming up on Saturday. And then they might say, hey, they might turn it into a fundraising event, moving forward. So good luck, James. Have fun with it. Coyotes, Jackrabbits, and the Dispute watch party in Rapid City at the Shriner Hall. Coming right back with the picks, football pick'ems in the NFL, 5 games, and Rob Kegron in next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
This house is freezing again. Winter is coming. Will it be cold inside your house again? Scan the QR code on your screen right now. Renewal by Anderson's incredible Winter is Coming sale is here. Buy one window or patio door, get the second one of equal or lesser value for 40% off, plus an additional 5% off the entire project if purchased on the initial consultation. And listen to this. No money down, no interest, no payments for 12 whole months. Payments as low as $89 a month. Hurry, this sale ends October 15th. Scan that code. Visit RBARapidCity.com now.
High school football action continues Friday with a Class 11 AAA showdown on Fox Sports Rapid City. The Rapid City Stevens Raiders take the field to battle the top-ranked Sioux Falls Jefferson Cavaliers at 6:30. Join Dean Gurr and me, Jerome Wickersham, for all the action, beginning with the pregame show at 6:15 from O'Hara Stadium. Catch Rapid City Stevens and Sioux Falls Jefferson Friday night right here on Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hi, this is Dr. Dan Jensen at Physio. We want to be your trusted partner for physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab. As the official strength and conditioning partners for Stevens, Central, Douglas, and the Rapid City Rush, our team at Physio is building the best athletes in the Black Hills. If you have an athlete in the family, we offer long-term athlete development at affordable prices for middle and high school students. We also have the only board-certified sports PT in Rapid City. At our brand new facility, Physio is ready to help you perform at your best. One-on-one physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab, all at one place. Get started at bhphysio.com.
Hey sports fans, it's Rob from the Firehouse Skybox, inviting you to make us your home for the NFL this season. We really wanted Rapid City to have a premier sports bar with great service and great food, and that's why we started the Skybox. We have 35 big screens, we'll show every NFL game all season long. Plus we'll have great specials for you to join us on Monday nights, Thursday nights, and all day, of course, on Sunday. The Skybox has the best food and the best experience for NFL football. Check us out on game days, and we look forward to serving you at the Skybox above the Firehouse in downtown Rapid City.
Live from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Details Studio. Sales, service, and recreation. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Oh, welcome back into the Drive at 5 on a Thursday on the Nate Brown Show. That means it's a Skybox Thursday, a football pick'ems Thursday with Rob Kegron from the Firehouse Skybox downtown, your football headquarters in Rapid City. Hey, it's Broncos Colts tonight. It's $1 wings tonight. I got to go to parent-teacher conferences first, okay? Hang on. I'm going to get there. Hang on. All right, Broncos Colts tonight. Let's start there. Rob Kegron, good to have you back. How are you?
Great to be with you, Nate. Nate, they can't do those parent-teacher conferences via Zoom. Don't they know it's Thursday night football?
Yeah,
this is not the time for parent-teacher conference.
Yes, that's right. So important. I know. By the way, let's get into this. Broncos Colts, I said this is a must-have for my Broncos. I know I didn't like how that game set up with the Raiders. I didn't. And now it's the Colts. I like it. They're at home. I think the Broncos get it. They're 3-point favorites.
Yeah, I do think this is a must-win game. It's hard to say that in Week 5 of an NFL season, but I really do think this is a big game for them. You know, this division is going to be tough. We saw the Chiefs play so well on Sunday night in Tampa. They're going to be very tough to beat going down the stretch. And if you've looked at the Broncos' schedule, their last 6 are very, very tough. They should have been loading up on this early season here. Now, they certainly haven't found their stride yet, but to me, this is a perfect opportunity. With Jonathan Taylor out for the Colts tonight, you have kind of a depleted Colts team, at least in terms of their offense, at least in terms of their running. They have to go on a short week on the road into a tough environment in Denver. If the Broncos don't find their way this week, Nate, when will they find their way? I think you have to lay the 3 points. You have to think Denver, with their back a little bit up against the wall, is going to find a way to win this game. And only giving up a field goal, I'm going to take the Broncos minus the 3.
Okay, it's tough, man. It is the NFL. Colts beat the Chiefs a couple of weeks ago, but I think the Broncos get it. I'm with you. They need it. Rob Kegron, Firehouse Skybox downtown football headquarters, will have the Broncos Colts and those $1 wings tonight. Let's go to Sunday. Vikings, Bears. Minnesota's at home. 7-point favorites. Kind of a big number, but the Bears have one of the worst passing offenses like in history, Rob. How do you see it?
Yeah, to me, this is these division games where it's 7 points. I can sometimes go either way. My general opinion is you take the team getting that many points in a division game. I'm not impressed at all with the Bears, certainly not with their offense. But Minnesota's kind of an up-and-down team. Now, they certainly found a bit of a stride in London, but even there they played a tight game against New Orleans, where the offense looked pretty good. Justin Jefferson certainly looked a lot better than he has in the last few weeks. I think Minnesota will find its way in scoring. I'm just not sure that they can go run away with a game like this. To me, I'd be really surprised if the Vikings lost the game. This is more of a divisional take the 7 points and run with it, because the Bears should keep the game competitive with their defense. I don't think they're going to run the score up at all, but I'm going to take the 7 points in the Bears.
Okay, +7. +7 with the Bears. You think the Vikings win, but it's a big number. Cowboys are 3-1. Rams are 2-2, Rob. Rams are at home. That's kind of a team, too, that needs to get going. 5.5-point favorites against the boys.
I'm really surprised on this line, Nate. This is probably one of the lines that jumped out me more than any other this week. The Rams is a 5.5-point favorite. Did anyone watch the game against San Francisco that they played? They didn't look very good. And Stafford looks more like the Stafford from the Detroit Lion time, and he's only throwing to Cooper Kupp. It's like he doesn't see anyone else on the field. Well, the Cowboys, we can say what you want about them. They have a great defense. They have guys that are all over the field. They're going to pressure Stafford. They have guys that can intercept the ball, that can turn the ball over. To me, this is I hate when they're so easy like this, Nate, because you're probably getting them wrong, but I'm going to take the 5.5 and run with it. And like I've said it before, I'm going to run with the money line on this one, too.
Whoa.
I think the Cowboys have found a little something here. I think the Rams are in a bit of trouble after last year. A lot of these Super Bowl teams, they have a bit of a hangover, and I have found that with this team, and I'm just not sure that the Rams are going to have it this year. I'm going to take the Cowboys plus the 5.5.
Rob going with the Cowboys to win. The Cowboys to win against the Rams. Skybox downtown above the Firehouse. If you want to watch the games, that's the place. 35 TVs, great specials. Let's go tight one, AFC North. Bengals at Ravens. Ravens have given up big leads and lost. Dolphins, Bills. Ravens are favored by 3.
I don't know if there's a more frustrated fan base right now than the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, losing the last 2 games that they lost, the Miami game and the game last week against Buffalo, I don't know how more frustrated you can get when you have these big leads at half. They've lost 5 in a row at home, their last 5 games at home. I think they break that streak right here. And Cincinnati's a good team, certainly, but you can get some pressure on them. And to me, Lamar Jackson did not have a great game last week, and I just don't see him doing that twice in a row at home. I think they'll find enough to win in this game. I'm not sold on Baltimore by any means. I think they've shown way too many mistakes, and obviously the kind of collapses that they've had over the last few weeks are really atrocious. But when you're only giving up a field goal at home in a division game, and you have a quarterback that can sometimes just with his legs do enough, I'm going to take the Ravens minus 3.
I like that. I feel that. Last game is a Monday night game at the Skybox. Monday night, AFC West, Chiefs are at home against the Raiders. It's a divisional game. It's a 7-point line for the Chiefs.
And if you listen to what I said just a minute ago with Chicago and Minnesota, 7-point line divisional games, I usually take the underdog, but I'm going to go opposite here. The Raiders have only won 1 time in their last 10 trips to Arrowhead. And if you watch the Sunday night game, that was not as close as that score indicated. The Chiefs absolutely dominated Tampa Bay and Tom Brady. And Max Crosby for the Raiders is only going to be able to do so much. To me, the Chiefs look like they are going to be an excellent team, as we should have expected, and a Super Bowl contender. And it's a whole touchdown, but at home on Monday night with that loud fan base in a divisional game, I think they're going to get to Derek Carr a bit, and I really think they're going to try to run up the score here.
You're taking the Chiefs minus 7. That feels pretty good, too. I have the Chiefs as my number 1 team in the league this week. Rob Kegron is at the Skybox. It's above the Firehouse, Rapid City's football headquarters. And, Rob, look at this. Broncos tonight. You got Huskers tomorrow night. You got USD SDSU Saturday.
We got a huge weekend of football and highlighting all of our local teams starting out right tonight. If you're on your way home, stop down at the Skybox, the Broncos and the Colts. Don't worry about Amazon Prime. We have it on all of our big screens. Be able to watch and root on the Broncos and come back all weekend for our local teams. And the Bears-Minnesota should highlight the beginning of our Sunday really great, exciting NFC North matchup. $1 wing specials tonight and again on Monday night for the Raiders and the Chiefs.
Rob Kegron tonight. They have that weekend buffet as well. It's good stuff. Football Pick'ems on a Thursday brought to you by the Firehouse Skybox. Rob, always good, man. Enjoy the weekend.
Thanks, Nate. You too.
Appreciate it. Rob Kegron in tonight on Fox Sports Rapid City, the Firehouse Skybox, downtown, Rapid City's football headquarters. Specials and the games. And I come back with my Major League Baseball postseason prediction. Wild cards start tomorrow. I'm going to go all the way to the NLCS, the ALCS, and the World Series. How wrong will I be? My picks next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown Show, on FoxSportsRapidCity.com and live on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
This house is freezing again. Winter is coming. Will it be cold inside your house again? Scan the QR code on your screen right now. Renewal by Anderson's incredible Winter is Coming sale is here. Buy 1 window or patio door. Get the second one of equal or lesser value for 40% off. Plus an additional 5% off the entire project if purchased on the initial consultation. And listen to this. No money down, no interest, no payments for 12 whole months. Payments as low as $89 a month. Hurry, this sale ends October 15th. Scan that code. Visit RBARapidCity.com now.
Your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Cloudy skies tonight with a chance for scattered showers. Lows level off around 37. East winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Cloudy skies expected again tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 54. Lows dip down to about 38 tomorrow night. Turning much warmer Saturday and Sunday with the highs from the mid-60s to the upper 60s. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 38.
Here at Pizza Ranch, we love the unique ways other countries compliment their chefs. In France, they say magnifique. In Italy, delizioso. And in many parts of the world, it's a compliment to belch. Don't try that at home, kids. But at Pizza Ranch, we keep hearing the same thing over and over again when guests bite into our pizza. Our famous chicken. And all the favorites on our buffet. We're beginning to think you're all trying to tell us something. We'll take that as a compliment. Pizza Ranch.
Live from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Details Studio. Sales, service, and recreation. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Welcome back in the Nate Brown Show. Glad you're a part of the program. If you miss anybody live tonight, let's run through it here. Mike Golick Jr. was on talking college football, little NFL with Mike Golick Jr., great guest. We had the picks early on with top handicapper in the country, Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports. George Stoya joined us, Broncos, Colts. Matt Zimmer with the Jackrabbits, Coyotes preview. Good stuff. The Nate Brown Show podcast has it all. If you missed some of the live guests, you can go to the podcast. We have all the shows there. Download it where you find your podcasts, wherever that is. Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon. The Nate Brown Show podcast available to listen on demand when you can. All right, before I get to who's hot and who's not, I got to get to my question number 5, essentially. If you missed earlier this hour, we do 5 questions from Chris, our loyal listener. He sends 5 questions in. I give 5 answers. I kind of delayed answer number 5. He wanted me to predict the wild card and the divisional round and stuff. I said, hey, just so happens I've got my predictions today for Major League Baseball postseason because it starts tomorrow. So let's run through it. This is really hard to do. Really hard to do. National League, I will start there. Phillies at Cardinals. Wild card series. Phillies the 6 seed. Cardinals the 3 seed. When it's all said and done in this 3-game series, it's a 3-game series. I mean, you win one game, you got a big edge. I think the Phillies win tomorrow. Okay? I think the Phillies win tomorrow, and that gives them the edge. I'm going to go Phillies to knock off the Cardinals. I think the Phillies have been playing a lot better. Tough division, the NL East. They were able to get in this thing, just get in this thing, and I think they get in, and I think they beat the Cardinals. Cardinals, sometimes they put up that goose egg. I mean, they just put up goose eggs. I'm going Phillies. Cardinals, not enough offense. Give me the Phillies to win that wild card series and advance. Okay, Padres at the Mets. This one, I think, pretty easy pick. I'm not a believer in the Padres. They aren't getting enough out of people they brought in, Soto, Bell. I mean, they're not getting enough. Padres have pretty good pitching. That might make it interesting. Mets have even better. Give me the Mets. They're not going to falter. They got a little dicey here at the end. Mets couldn't win the AL or the NL East, but I'm going to think the Mets will get that done against the Padres. I'll go Mets to the NLDS. So that would put the Braves against the Phillies and the Mets against the Dodgers. Okay? Mets, Dodgers, Braves, Phillies. Let's start Braves, Phillies. I'll go with the Braves. The Braves are the 2 seed. The Braves have played the best baseball in the NL East. They're good right now. The Braves look really good. They were really good last year. They look really good this year. Give me the Braves of the Phillies. I don't think it's that close of a series. Braves have had the Phillies number. I'll take the Braves to another NLCS. Braves first team into the NLCS. The other series, this is a prime timer. New York, LA, Mets, Dodgers, powerhouse payrolls. Big, massive payrolls on both sides. The Dodgers have won 111 games. They're the best team when it's all said and done. Will their pitching be elite? Will it be elite? Their lineup's elite. I can't go with the Mets. I can't do it. I'm going full chalk, meaning the favorites. I'm going to go Dodgers, Braves, NLCS. Dodgers, Braves, NLCS. Okay, I'll stop there. Go to the American League on the Nate Brown Show. MLB postseason starts tomorrow. Start with the Rays at the Cleveland Guardians. Should have been the Minnesota Twins, but that's another story. Cleveland just were consistent. Cleveland was consistent. Not outstanding. Way more consistent than the White Sox and the Twins. I don't think Cleveland's going to beat the Rays. Tampa Bay is a team somehow, some way, back into the postseason. Low payroll. They just have guys. They play well this time of year. Tampa Bay, a tough division, and they still get in. I'll take the 6-seed Rays to win that wild card series over the Cleveland Guardians. Rays in. Mariners now playing at the Blue Jays tomorrow. A 5-4 matchup. Some people think the Mariners might surprise people. I'm not doing it. I'm going Blue Jays. Love the young core. I love the young core. Will the stage be too big? I think young guys play loose. I'm going to go Blue Jays to get that done. They'll beat the Mariners. That puts the Blue Jays against the Astros and the Yankees against the Rays. Am I going to have to go chalk all the way? No, I'm not. Astros have won a ton of games. Is it 106? Astros have won a ton of games. Great pitching. They say they're the best team. Will the Blue Jays get by the Astros in a surprise? There's not going to be that many surprises, but there's always one. There's always one or two, a Rays team that goes on a run, something like that. I think it's going to be the Blue Jays. I'm going to take the Blue Jays again to go on a run and get through the Astros in the ALDS. Give me the Blue Jays to the ALCS. How about Yankees, Rays on the other side? I got to go Yankees. That lineup's too strong. I think that lineup performs. They will. I don't think, they had some up and down times. It's a long season. The Rays aren't quite as good. They're not quite as good. It's postseason baseball, pressure-packed. The Rays won't get it done. Yankees, give it to me. I go Yankees, Blue Jays, ALCS. How wrong will I be? Who's getting to the World Series? It will be a Dodgers win over the Braves in the NLCS. It will be a Yankees win over the Blue Jays. It's a big-time World Series. Kind of chalky. Dodgers number 1 seed in the NL. They get there. Yankees number 2 seed in the AL. They get there. I think both teams have the best offense. I think both those teams have really, really good offense. Just enough pitching that's been pretty solid. And the Dodgers will win the World Series. Book it. They are just that much better than everybody else. It's not a fluke. They won 111. Dodgers-Yankees World Series. Dodgers, your 2022 World Series champions. And that's it for the Nate Brown Show on a Thursday. Thanks for listening. By the way, tomorrow, Sioux Falls Jefferson and Rapid City Stevens right here in our Game of the Week on Fox Sports Rapid City. Here's the Odd Couple on the way next.
And here's what you need to know.
NFL